Hello and welcome to CXO Fireside Chats on CXOTV. Today, we have the pleasure of being joined by Hiral Shah, the Chief Information Security Officer of Dhani. Hiral, it's great to have you here.
So, thank you for that.
So, to get things rolling, could you share your journey with us so far?
Yeah, so basically, what I can say, I'm almost 24 years of experience in this information technology, including the information security, and I went through the multiple domain. And currently I'm leading this NBFCs as a chief group CISO. So overall journey, I started my career as a programmer, and gradually I grown as a network administration. Then I went to the securities, compliance and securities, and gradually I grown to the the 360 degree of the cybersecurity, including the regulatory compliances, audits, and everything. So that's my overall journey at the high level.
Okay. So, as a Chief Information Security Officer in the financial service sector, what are the most critical cybersecurity issues affecting the industry, and how do you approach tackling these challenges?
Okay, so if I can talk about the specific for the financial sectors, and that is including maybe the banking, non-banking, and the other financial institutes. So cyber security is the key for financial sectors. Maybe is playing a very key role for the financial sectors to keep the customers' transactions safe and the secure, aligned with the government ask regarding the regulatory and the compliances. So, if I can talk about the most challenges, in the or if I can talk about the issue, the major issues in the cyber security for the NBFCs, the phishing assaults and the social engineering, that is more smarter in compared to the previous years. Okay, that is growing very significant and smarter. Okay, and another problem is the fraud activities are increasing very significantly in the financial sectors. Okay, and that is not from the single angle, that is for the multiple angles, and majority it is impacting the customers transactions. Okay, so yeah, so that is the most challenges I can say. And if we talk more about the social engineering, so it's take in the many forms, specifically for the customers basically. Okay, and that I can say the phishing is there, smishing is there, and it could be sending a bogus, maybe the bogus in terms of the fake emails, fake URLs. Okay, and that is basically creating the major potential risk for the customers as well as for the company as well.
So, anything which you have experienced that it has affected the business, and you have dealt with it the way you have dealt with it.
Yeah, so basically, even we are getting this complaint from the customer and the non-customer as well. They are facing this issue and they are getting the fake letters. They are getting the call from the fake company in behalf of our organization. And generally, what we deal, first of all, we believe in the strong awareness. So we always continues creating the awareness for our customers. And apart from that, we put the continuous monitoring for our systems, the transactions, customers transactions, as well as the internal data flow aligned with the customer transactions. So that is our basically the major precautions that we do. And another part is whenever we get the complaint from the customers, we take the steps to take down that fake websites with our the SOC and the legal team. So that the approach we continuous take to be get our customer happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure. So, but doing all this in the back end, maybe whatever technological measurements required, does it affects the main stream platform or the website, the portals of the brand? These are more about safeguarding the financial data. So,
Right.
how do you balance the need for stronger security measures with the essential goal of ensuring a smooth and a user-friendly experience for clients?
Okay. So, see, basically the goal here is to ensure the financial companies follow the data protection laws governing by the the territory where they are operating. Okay, so that is the overall goal basically. And what we do, we stay alert of new security threats all the times. Okay. We just keep monitoring our digital ecosystem wherever we are operating with the customers and the partner. Okay, and we just try to minimize the overkilling of the security specifically for the customers, I can say the data protection simplification that we believe in. Okay, so what we do, generally we put the data encryption first of all, to be make sure wherever the data in transaction interested in the most It should be encrypted all the time. We put weightage on the identity and the classify sensitive information. We put the weightage on the identity and the access manager specifically for the customers. And another part is basically we strongly believe in the multi-factor authentications or maybe the biometric wherever it is required. So that three controls we put on the weightage to minimize the risk of the leakage of the customer's information and the breach of the customer's data.
And that's great. So could you provide insights into the key strategies or technologies that you have found to be most effective in protecting sensitive financial information from evolving cyber threats?
Okay, so there are various technology, various tools are available in the market, but that is all subject to how we utilize and what exactly we're supposed to utilize as per our business requirement. Okay, so if I can talk about the financial sector, where basically we are 100% dependent on the customers, right? So we believe in the to reduce the risk. We strongly believe in the what I said previously, it is the multi-factor authentication and the biometric solutions, and that really enhance our security and the reduce the risk of the unauthorized access. So that is the first part we take care as a primary factor. Second is basically the robust encryption, so that we believe in our internal mechanism, our internal data flow, our internal workflow. Definitely, it must be have a proper encryption. Third is basically the access control. So that should be maybe the it should be identified access control should be there, and it should be continuous monitored by our 24/7 security operation teams, and it should be monitored by our the transaction monitoring team as well. Fourth is basically I believe in the awareness training for the customers. So we continuously send the awareness to the customers do's and don'ts, and how to deal with the phishing, how to deal with the social engineering, and how to deal with any suspicious activity if they get the email through email, through SMS, through WhatsApp, through phone. So that's the thing. So we have a 24/7 customer care team. So they always be available to be take care of all this activity, and they continuous guide to the customers for that. And the last but not least, the zero trust. So but generally what we believe, we should never trust on that. It should always be verified. So whenever any incoming traffics are there, so this is, I'm sure I'm just sharing with the technical part, but if you can consider this is in favor of the customers, the benefits, we always verify the identity or all the incoming traffics, all the incoming flows, so we never trust on that. So we can say we just try to make sure we are on the zero trust, and we deliver the seamless transactions or seamless services to the customers without any hassle to the customers even.
Yeah. So, this must be, although we are having so many technologies in place, and as you earlier mentioned, that the attacks are even getting more sophisticated.
Right.
So, there is a lot of pressure on these CISOs, especially the security leaders.
Absolutely.
So, how do you deal with those kind of pressures?
See, basically, what you rightly said, there is the pressure from all the angles, maybe from internal stakeholders, from the external side, from the regulatory compliance as well. See, what CISO generally do, in this case, CISO take the risk measurement metrics they deal with all these challenges, basically, right? So what we do, we identify the risk, we do continuous assessment of our entire environment, and that is basically all the sensitive data, sensitive environment, the data in transit specifically. And based on that, we come up with the risk assessment matrix. That matrix we continuously measure with the whatever the controls we have implemented, the effectiveness of the controls. And accordingly, we just try to improve our controls. We try to mold our control. We try to add the controls to make sure we are safe end of the day. But yes, what I can say, we just try our best to be secure our environment, secure our customers by 99.999. But 0.001%, I'm sure practically it is really not possible. That is all subject to the how the attacks look like, what smarter way the hackers has compromise the systems. And sometimes due to some silly mistakes from the internal threat, from silly mistakes from the customers as well, they got compromised. So that is all. We try our best to be secure, but end of the day, that is all require the collaboration with multiple stakeholders and internal the C-suite as well.
Yeah, sure. So, as financial industry is quite a regulated industry, unlike we have seen the other enterprises earlier, they were not taking cybersecurity that seriously, even in terms of budget allocation. So, in the face of increasingly complex cyber threats, How do you effectively prioritize and allocate resources to address the most significant risk confronting the financial institutions today?
Okay, so see, Kalpana, basically, your question is definitely good, but the challenges are same right now. The budget allocation for the security is a problem everywhere. Not in this BFCs, but most of the company, it's very difficult to get the budget for the securities because this is all the passive investment, I can say, and it's very difficult to be identify that ROI for that. Okay, so what we do basically, if you can say about this increased complexity of the cyber threats. So yes, hackers are so what currently happening, hackers are using AI, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other technologies to launch increasingly sophisticated attacks. Basically, they are more smarter than us. They are using the tool to be attacks continuously. It is the speed of maybe 1,000 times more than what they generally previously doing manually. Okay. So to improve the risk prioritization, what we do, what I discussed in my early discussion, we create the cyber risk assessment with the probability scales. Okay, and because we also use the AI technology, we also try to integrate the machine learning technology. So we just try to understand the risk of this technology. We just try to identify the gaps from the technology. We do the risk assessment of this technology with the probability scales. And after identifying the various risks, based on the assumption, based on the case studies, based on the potential upcoming risk, we assign a financial value to each risk. Example, if I'm implementing AI for my one of the application, or maybe the robot trading example, if I can say as a Dhani stocks. Okay, so what all the risks are involved in the robot trading that we identify, we prioritize the risk with the value. If my tool get compromised, what value will be the coming, what potential value will be a significant loss. So everything we identify, we generally we derive with the financial risk, and depending on the value, we determine the appropriate response to deal with this fallback, basically fallout.
Yeah, totally agree with you. So if you can elaborate on your primary focus areas and priorities for the next 2 to 3 years.
Kalpana, basically, in next 2 to 3 years, it is very challenging, I can say, in terms of the cyber security, because cybercrime is increasingly serious. It's very serious problem, if you can understand, and it is addressing very strongly. Cyber security is very critical. We just try to make it more strong, but it is very crucial to make it more stronger, because parallelly everything is growing, together. If we are thinking about increasing the cyber security, the hackers are also more smarter than the social engineering is also becoming more smarter. AI based attacks is also becoming more smarter. So what generally my focus area as an industry is for my company basically, or if I can say in the next 2 to 3 years, what I can assume based on my experience. Okay, effective cyber security operation rely on the layers of the offensive testing. Okay, so I think what company supposed to do, or what generally CISO supposed to do, they have to be make sure the active testing of all the application, and they have to become a more defensive architecture. Okay, so it should be AI ML based. So so same way we can just try to kill the the breaches. Example, if breaches is using the AI ML, then we also supposed to use the AI ML to defend that defend that attacks basically. So that's the one way I can see in the next 2 to 3 years. In the focus area is basically to be become a more efficient to be use the AI and ML in the cyber security.
Okay.
We have to be more advanced in the forensic of any incident response if it is there. The cloud security is the major concern, so we have to be a more advanced security for the cloud security for the cloud, and it should be effective governance and leadership definitely is required to be deal with all this advancement basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
how strong security posture you have maintained in your organization?
see, basically, we follow the see, definitely our entity coming in the RBI and the SEBI, so we follow the all the most of the the guidance from the RBI and the SEBI. So even I'm sure the RBI, they are very much strict in the cyber security and the compliances. So we implement that and we try to measure them. And another good part is from the Indian entities, so they are continuous monitoring, and they are even improving a lot, even in the the government standpoints. Even they are very much serious in the cyber security, and they are continuous providing the guidance to all the regulatory entities. So that's the good part. And if I can talk about our posture, so we are definitely in very good shape. And see, we have implemented all the standard securities without overkilling the customers area, because that will be definitely more challenging for the customers if we overkill the security. So we have implemented very good security, and it should be definitely seamless deliverables to the customers without any hassle.
Now, so looking ahead, what upcoming trends or technologies do you believe will significantly impact the cybersecurity landscape over the 1 or 2 years? I won't use 2 to 3 years anymore. In fact, it's becoming more like couple of months. Okay.
Right, right.
So, what are the upcoming trends? And furthermore, how should organizations prepare themselves to adapt to these changes?
Okay, good prepared. So some emerging trends and technology that may impact the cybersecurity landscape over the next maybe some years, but next couple of years or 3 years, basically. So first is basically what I can say is the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So see, AI and ML algorithm can analyze a large amount of data and detect pattern of attack, maybe you can say the pattern of the behavior, and that indicate maybe what are the potential threats are there. So based on the data analytics only, using the AI and ML, that can help us to be identify the potential risk for the company and for the the company's asset. And another I can say, maybe in next few years the IoT will be on top. Okay, and specifically we are waiting for the 5G, right? So once the 5G will be come in the operations, or basically that will be come in the crowd of the public, that will be more dangerous, and that will definitely require the measure securities, maybe component. And I'm sure some additional compliance will definitely frame by the customer government, and customer, or maybe everybody has to follow that compliance as well, because IoT on the 5G is growing fast, but is not yet 100% implemented. But yes, I think it is the potential to be implemented very soon, maybe in 2024. And next is basically I can say the blockchain technology, that is also very potentially you can say the significant value in the cybersecurity market. Okay, the cloud security is what we discussed, that is a very small word, but yes, I think this is very crucial for everyone, because cloud is growing fast, it is with more advancement. But security is still, everybody is exploring the security, everybody is trying to evaluate the security, but still it is not up to the mark, except some name cloud, maybe Google, Amazon, they have up to the mark, and beyond that our thinking they have a security. But some of the the unbranded or not unbranded to the unknown clouds, the service provider, I think they have to be think on that. And as usual, the ransom is always there, and it is still there, and it is growing very fast, and ransom is basically going to become more dangerous day by day. So uh, that we have to be think on the how to be fight with the ransom. Company must have a model for ransom. Company must have a the risk acceptance for the ransom, and company should create the budget for ransom in case of any unresolved ransom attack there. That company has to be some strategy to be come out from this ransom, and try to save the data even.
Now, that's quite interesting, creating a budget for ransom.
Absolutely. See, basically, I'm practically very easy to say, but company is supposed to be, accept that the ransom is there, and potentially it can harm the data, but company can save the data if company can have some reasonable budget to be, spend on that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. So last but not the least, we talked about the strategies, the technologies, the approaches, how to deal with the challenges for cyber attacks, whether it is the prevention, or even if it happens, then how it has to be dealt with. On personal level, the kind of pressure, I can see these days with the CISOs, especially in the financial sector. So what are your suggestions? What are your advice, 2Ps, to the peers, your buddies, when it comes to taking this stress personally, how they can, deal with it? So I was asking, would you like to share some advice to your peers when it comes to not just, with the technologies and all, how you handle the pressure personally, when it comes to health, taking care of your health, and the kind of stress level CISOs are actually going through. So how you deal with that? Would you like to advise?
Yes, yes, absolutely. See, basically, what I can see, in our cybersecurities, even in the IT, most of the people, they, but take the too much stress, too much pressures, and and that I think because of the lack of confidence, lack of skills, and I don't know, so what is my advice on the personal level? I think whatever the situation will come, at least deal with the peaceful mind, deal with the maturity of the the situation, and just think on the terminology of the situation. Example, if any ransom attacks happen, okay, mm, we for that whatever happen is first of all we have to be think on how to be stop immediately to be impacting our internal network. What was spoiled is spoiled, that for sure, but we need to cut down the network immediately, and that plan should be there. I think the mock drill, the to company supposed to mock drill, so at the time of the situation, everything, the situation can be handled very carefully, very smartly, and very peacefully. So my advice to all the newcomers, all the freshers, to my colleague as well, just deal with the situation smartly, peacefully, and without taking off any panic and the stress. Then only we can save the significant value of the company, whatever is not spoiled yet.
So thank you so much for answering that last question. It was great having you here today on CXO TV. And I'm sure our audience is really going to have great takeaways from this conversation.
Absolutely, Kadma. Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.